3 blocks from the United Nations in New York, a veritable geek squad of data scientists, analysts, and engineers are using big data and artificial intelligence for global good. Or, as Director Robert Kirkpatrick puts it in simpler terms,
our job is to help superheroes find out where people are in trouble so they can rescue them.
Here, the team writes code for software to advance the UN's humanitarian and sustainable development work.
What we've been doing is essentially training an AI to recognize the signatures of rescue patterns.
And this is sort of like the movement of rescue vessels between Italy and Malta and the Libyan shore.
A few desks away, Tomás Loga uses AI to determine the size of an expanding refugee camp from satellite imagery.
There they go. So we have 3 AI machines going through.
Where are these AI machines?
Right now they're in cloud.
Next to him, Gemma Miller is using AI to catalogue tweets and social media reactions to events.
Some insights from these frequent terms: we see Amazon, we see fire, we see green, about green economy, burn of coral.
What we have now are phenomena like climate change, infectious diseases, economic shocks that don't respect national borders, that can move around the world at the speed of light. And what we need now is to move from the kind of traditional slow linear processes of using 3 to 5-year-old survey data to make a 5-year plan and then taking a little snapshot every couple of years to track progress. We need to move to real-time situational awareness and predictive management of risk. That's where this kind of data comes in.
UN Global Pulse was founded nearly a decade ago, and the Innovation Initiative now has labs in New York, Kampala, and Jakarta. The team is multidisciplinary and international, including Chief Data Scientist Miguel Luengo-Oroz. He speaks with us from Madrid.
At that time, the term data science was not yet used, even in industry, but the UN understood that it needed real-time information to better serve vulnerable populations.
He says AI has since been used to model the spread of Zika in Colombia, monitor xenophobia and hate speech against refugees in Europe, and track the aftermath of natural disasters and conflicts. But where does all this data come from? Well, much of it comes from how we live, work, and play. It comes from how we commute to how we search for information online. It comes from how we make calls on cell phones to how we shop and sell products. But with all this data collection comes a lot of risks. Kirkpatrick says it's an ethical balancing act.
One of the classic contexts in which you think about this is something like public health. What is an acceptable privacy risk in a data set that you want to use to stop the spread of an infectious disease? Well, what's the mortality rate of the disease? Are we trying to stop seasonal influenza, cholera, or Ebola? Because how much privacy risk is appropriate is going to depend on the types of harms we have an opportunity to prevent.
Managing risks also include anonymizing data sets, accounting for information bias where the source of data may not reflect the needs of the most vulnerable, and preventing data misuse. But that's not all.
We need to make sure that artificial intelligence is for all and that those technologies do not leave anyone behind.
UN Global Pulse says private companies are increasingly on board to share their data for social good, fueling what's now being called a data philanthropy movement. Li Ling Tan, CGTN, New York.